checking it out. Happy Gilmore 2 is a 2025 sports comedy directed by Kyle Newacek. It's the sequel to 1996's Happy Gilmore and stars Adam Sandler, Benny Safdie, Christopher McDonald, and Julie Bowen. After killing his wife accidentally, a golf champion turned alcoholic must return to the game he left behind. While his initial motivations are fiscal, Happy ultimately finds himself playing to save the very future of golf. It has a runtime of 118 minutes to fit too many cameos, and as of this taping, holds a 64 on Rotten Tomatoes with an audience score of 72%. Sean, you could pop yourself on as well. Pete, what did you think of Happy Gilmore 2?
Very concisely, I think it was not bad enough to make me feel mad or like this was a waste of time, not worth doing, but obviously not good enough to really justify bringing this thing back after, 20 years? It had its moments. I got some laughs, but ultimately, like, just a deeply stupid movie that did not need to be made, and it really lost me in the back nine. I'll say that. The back nine, golf term for those who don't know, just insane. If we said inappropriate words, might be able to throw a one or two around here. That was just a absolutely ridiculous end to that movie.
We'll get to words that this movie could have used if it were a 1996 version of it, but Sean, what'd you think?
I liked it way more than I thought I would. I mean, maybe it's because I had no emotional attachment to Happy Gilmore to begin with, but the cameos were way less offensive to me than I thought they would be. And like Pete said, I think it had its moments. But I mean, ultimately, I think, don't shoot me, like, Happy Gilmore 1 is a ridiculous movie. It just came first. And it was good. It was a good movie. But like the concept of it in and of itself is ridiculous. So when you remove this movie that far from it and you inject the Netflix of it all, it was not as bad as I thought it was.
Okay, if you found this on YouTube and you don't know who we are, we're a daily hockey podcast called What Chaos. We have your favorite players on: Brad Marchand, Connor Bedard, all of them. So make sure you subscribe if you enjoy any of this. I want to talk about the cameos, Sean. They were way more invasive than you did, but I have to start with them killing the wife immediately. Mamma Mia 2 style. The movie begins with, so I killed my wife. You killed Virginia Venet? You made a Happy Gilmore movie that had Julie Bowen, and you started by killing her off. I would understand if she didn't have many lines or if she wasn't in the movie much, but they put her in the movie a lot, as much as they could, with all the cameos that went on. I mean, she had like 9 lines, which is probably tied for second most in the film because they had 900 characters. But Pete, I could not get past that it begins with, and I killed my wife.
Yeah, Simon Birched his wife. I don't know if you're familiar with Simon Birch, but that's exactly what happened in that movie, just with baseball. But yeah, I could not believe it. It stunned me, especially considering how badly this movie wanted to play all the hits from Happy Gilmore 1. Like, one of the biggest hits from Happy Gilmore 1 was the chemistry between Happy and Virginia. And like, the movie starts off just really like laying into that. I didn't know it was because we were only going to get 2 minutes of it before he kills her off. That was a stunning decision. I feel maybe Julie Bowen didn't really want to do this movie, and but like you said, she was in it a ton, just as like a dead person, as a ghost. It was a crazy choice.
And you know what the shame of it is, boys? As they were doing the intro and they're playing the old clips that my name is Happy Gilmore and he's wearing the hockey jersey and he's playing hockey and he's falling down and he's fighting, and they're showing the old stuff from the first movie. I fell in love. We got married. We had the kids. I was like, damn it, I'm in. Like, I am so into this. It's more Happy Gilmore. I watched Happy Gilmore on Thursday night, the night before it came out, just to kind of get in the mood. I was sick from laughing so hard. That movie is so freaking funny. It's the billionth time I've seen it, but hadn't seen it in a while. That intro of Happy Gilmore 2 had me in, and then they kill the wife. And then just from there, I'm like, uh-oh, I know myself. I know Pete. I feel like this is going to be a tough one to come back from. I feel like we're both going to be pretty distracted the whole movie. Sean, you don't hold any emotional attachment to the Happy Virginia storyline?
Not in particular. Like, to me, the bigger losses in this movie were the actors that quite literally died in real life.
So no Carl Weathers.
Yeah, no Chubbs, no Bob Barker. Like, those were like the staples of Happy Gilmore 1 to me, that like obviously you couldn't in this one. But I guess they did in ways, like they referenced them. They had their appearances in a sense, but like those were like the parts of Happy Gilmore 1 that I had an emotional attachment to, and
Okay.
I understand why they didn't replicate those.
Okay, this ties into maybe my biggest issue with the movie, other than the fact that they kill the wife in the beginning of the movie when they had the actor in the movie throughout. Happy Gilmore had Happy, Grandma, Chubbs, Shooter, Virginia, and then like maybe 5 or 6 kind of ancillary characters who pop up from time to time. Mista Lady, Hal, played by the great Ben Stiller, people who are in it, Doug, people who are in it from Joe Flaherty's character, the jackass guy. People will have like a scene and a half, a couple of good moments, and you're like, hey, I like that guy. But really, it is mainly these core characters doing core character things. This movie, in addition to so many cameos, had so many characters that it couldn't really finish a thought. Pete, it couldn't really finish a joke. Like everything, there was so much of so many things packed in that by the end of the movie, with 5 minutes left, I was like, wait a second. I heard all about how Margaret Qualley's in this movie. She was in it for 2 seconds, just like every other actor who's in it. There were too many characters and too many things.
I agree with that. I also agree with or I also think that there were too many like plot points going on. Going back to killing his wife, like the wife is dead, and also he's struggling with alcoholism. Like, pick a struggle. Like, Happy Gilmore should really only have one struggle in a comedy movie that is this stupid. Instead, he's dealing with the trauma of a dead wife and a debilitating addiction to alcohol. Like, what are we doing here? We don't need to get that deep.
Didn't need the dead wife for the story at all.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like the whole
Just
the
stays
live
washed
golf
up.
of it all, and like the fact that your daughter is a talented, like, even if your wife, most income households can't afford to send somebody for $75,000 a year to a ballet school in Paris. So it's not like you needed the loss of the wife to make the financial burden that believable. Like, could have had that character.
What's great about Happy Gilmore is it is a sports movie. Like, it's a hockey movie. It takes its sports seriously enough. Like, you got to suspend disbelief a little bit, but hockey exists for real in that movie. I'm sorry. Golf exists for real in that movie. And I mean, the golf in this movie gets absolutely crazy. But if hockey still exists in the Happy Gilmore universe, I hate to get dark, but I mean, they're killing off wives. Happy's got CTE. So like, he's got things that he already has things that he needs to overcome.
He didn't really play hockey, to be fair.
Fair.
That's true.
Maybe people didn't actually end up punching him, but there's ways that you could say Happy's got an uphill climb. I mean, unfortunately, how many athletes do we see who fall on hard times? Happy, with as bright and dynamic a person as he was, it's very believable that person would fall on hard times one way or another, just because like life is freaking hard. You don't need to kill a wife to do that. And I feel kind of like in Bohemian Rhapsody, where they're like, Freddie Mercury's gay, kind of. And then they just kind of breeze past it. They're like, Happy Gilmore is an alcoholic.
But a
when
fun,
we need him to,
fun kind.
When we need him to be an alcoholic.
Yeah,
and
100%.
He goes to this really cartoony alcohol class that is led by Hal, because they need that character back in there. And that's all ridiculous. And it brings back the, like, he runs a sweatshop with the grandmas doing quilting and everything, except he's having alcoholics paint his house. Fine. Okay. But they just drop it completely. And the worst part about it is, for all the characters this movie has, the alcohol class presents a good character. The girl in the alcohol class, who's acting sort of as a sponsor in the beginning of the movie, is texting him and saying like, hey, you got this. And then they just don't do anything with that character for the whole movie until the end, when they reveal like, oh yeah, this person's played by his daughter. Too much stuff going on.
I mean, two like deep problems that they don't really explore deeply or with like heart, which is kind of the problem that I have with them. Just focus on one and explore it a little bit deeper and give it a little bit more heart to the movie. Didn't do a great job of that. And then the other thing that I had a problem with, where they went like, they kind of had a fork in the road and then abandoned one of the roads, is that he initially starts doing this to put his daughter into ballet school, and then like at some point you lose sight of the fact that that was even the reason that he did this, because he's trying to save traditional golf, and that becomes the reason why he's doing this. And it's just like it's a very convoluted like motivation, and it really pivots halfway through the movie, and then you forget about the other half.
Yeah, there are a few oh yeah, this is in the movie. And it's
Yeah.
at the very end where I'm not spoiling everything, but like he makes a bet with somebody to be like, okay, this will solve all my financial problems, and classic Sandler Safdie Sandler makes a bet stuff that we like
Yeah,
to
true.
see in sports-ish movies. Yeah, a big question I want to ask, and I kind of know the answer, is how funny was this movie?
I would say it was like decently funny. It was funny enough. Like
Funnier than
it
I
was
expected.
it was funnier than I expected. Honestly, like I agree with Sean. We talked about it in last week's episode. Like zero expectations for this movie, and the trailers made it look.
Well, a lot of other people like this, so that's just your opinion, whatever. But yeah, I don't give a rat's ass what you like, motherfucker. It sucked my dick. But what I was gonna say is these guys, they're talking about the first Happy Gilmore like it's the holy grail of movies, like it's Casa freaking Blanca. But the original wasn't a masterpiece that some are claiming. It's just a really stupid comedy. It's better than Caddyshack, which doesn't hold up. And Sandler movies are bad, but also I love at least half of them as a guilty pleasure. You know what I mean? But this one, is it worth paying $7.99 for Netflix just to cancel it? What else is good on Netflix? Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously, I'd like to have a watch party in Discord or some crap like that, but we get struck down for that. But yeah, I heard there's funny scenes of him getting old and drunk and stuff, and I can relate to that. An old cranky Adam Sandler seems like it'd be funny. But you know what? The movie where he plays himself and his sister seems like on paper would be the funniest movie ever. But that movie was so uncomfortably not funny. I thought he was like playing a joke on the audience. I didn't get how it could be that bad. Because I even chuckled in like the Nutty Professor, Clumps, Eddie Murphy kind of type stuff, even though it was pretty bad. But you know what I mean? So some of them are shockingly unfunny, and some of them are slight. Like even Click or whatever he's got the remote control, and that movie was kind of cheeky and mainstream, but it had some interesting stuff in it. There's always his buddies and his cameos and just stupid crap like that. It's just good escapist movie, you know. No, dude, this is the real me. I'm a nerd. You're gonna have to fucking deal with it.
Horrible. And I thought that the cameos would be way too invasive, way too distracting. And like, yeah, they were on the scale of distracting and invasive, but they were not as bad as I thought. And the jokes were not as bad as I thought. There were a few times where I legitimately like laughed out loud in this movie. Like
Same.
John Lovitz falling off the top tier of the driving range. Like there were a few other moments that I really, really enjoyed. I thought it was at points it was very funny, but not enough.
The Scotty Scheffler of it all rocked to me. I thoroughly enjoyed the jail references. Like that I thought was funny.
Yeah. Very funny.
I had a couple of real laughs, and I wasn't sitting there like, this isn't Happy Gilmore 1, I'm mad. Like I said,
that's what I thought too, but have you watched it within the last 10 years? Go watch it, and it does not hold up because the style of movie making has changed so much. There are long meandering scenes in that movie that just don't go anywhere, and there's boring parts. And then there's like Bill Murray playing the retarded character, has a couple funny lines. It's not as good as I can't explain it. But at least the Adam Sandler movie is more fast paced and shorter and snappier and funny in places, stupid funny in others. Whatever. And you're older than me, so I don't remember when that was in movie theaters. I was born in the early 80s.
I came into this thing excited, ready to go, and it slowly lost me. I'd say my issue with its funniness, and this is maybe a product of the times, too many jokes. They tried to make everything a joke, and those weren't funny. Like there are a lot of "that's what she said" jokes. There's like bad breath humor. There's fart humor. Which you can do all those things. There's like butts, and like Happy Gilmore would do those sorts of things. I'll say, you mentioned off the top, like words that folks don't say anymore. If this were a 1996 movie, the threesome with whom he golfs, the Eric Andre and Margaret Qualley and one of the kids from Please Don't Destroy, they would have hammered a word that they used in 1996 for those kids, and it would have been a much funnier scene.
Yes, 100%. One of the sneaky funniest parts of this movie was Stephen A. Smith calling for Happy Gilmore to get the electric chair after he relapsed on alcohol.
I laughed at that.
So absurd.
Good.
And I was like, truly, this is an absurd thing. And then I remembered that Stephen A. Smith went on national television and yelled at Lamar Odom for doing crack. So it is really not that far removed from reality.
I just know that Stephen A. Smith thing was like in when Ray Charles was doing We Are the World, and they're like, okay, so the song goes with it, and he was like, don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna get this. And he goes in. I believe Kendrick Lamar also did this with the YOLO song with Lonely Island, where they're like, okay, so we want you to do a verse about like fiscal responsibility, and we're thinking you could hit and he's like, I got it. And he just did a whole thing about like mortgages and everything. I know they told Stephen A. Smith some broad points about what's going on in the movie, and then they started to suggest, so we were thinking you could, and he was like, shut up. And he just did what he did in the movie in one take. I know it.
Yeah,
that's like, that was so from the heart, Stephen A. Smith. All right, what are the points? We're talking about Happy Gilmore. He messed up something for golf. He was drinking when he did it, and he's like, I got it. So some of those things were funny. I also want to shout out the Bad Bunny character.
I love Bad Bunny.
Because I loved Bad Bunny in this movie.
Bad Bunny is
he was great.
So talented and is such a funny dude. I love him. Man, I love that.
I mean, secondary performances that are like beyond cameos in this movie. Bad Bunny and John Daly fucking killed it.
John Daly also
so
just being
good.
John Daly rocked.
The best part about the John Daly thing is it took me more than a few minutes to realize that was actually John Daly. I thought it was Biff Whiff in his final movie.
That's way funnier considering his first scene. Hey, John Daly.
No. I thought it was Biff Whiff.
Uncle John Daly.
No, I thought it was Biff Whiff playing John Daly. Just because I hadn't heard from John Daly in so long that I kind of assumed that maybe he was with Biff Whiff right now. And Biff Whiff, they could have shot his stuff like a year ago or whatever, and that would be that. Biff Whiff seems like somebody who would have been in this movie.
For sure. And it is actually stunning. Like, to your point, it is stunning that John Daly is still alive and in like good enough spirits and good enough mental health that he can do a movie like this and crush it, because I would have thought that guy would have died like 15 years ago.
He's always going to be in good spirits.
How did we feel? How did we feel about all of the callbacks? I knew those were going to happen. I was probably going to be into them to an extent. By the time they'd made enough "that's what she said" jokes and breath jokes and these things, those kind of hit worse, because I'm like, this is just all a worse version, which we knew it would be, but it just, those lines rung a little more hollow when I'm like, this is coming after 10 bad jokes.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that they were going to do it. There was just like, it was a varying degree of like acceptability. Like at the beginning, I liked like the flashbacks. Like you said, it kind of brought you back into like the universe, and you're like, okay, I'm down for this. I think at certain points with like sequels like this, you have to set a mark and be like, okay, we're not doing like any flashbacks to the previous movie beyond the 15-minute mark, the 20-minute mark, because otherwise, this is just a 2-hour-long tribute to the first movie rather than being a movie in its own right. So, like, I think they did go a little bit overboard, but, like, not to a degree that truly annoyed me all that much.
Okay, positives. I say Bad Bunny's character, Very, very good. Enjoyed that. Chris Wataski in this movie. What are some positives for you, Pete?
I mean, generally, like, the positive is that I didn't really hate my time with it. I probably won't go back to it, and I probably won't really think about it like in a week's time. But the positive for me is that I didn't say like fuck these people for making this movie.
Sean?
Are you gonna get mad? I'm gonna say the cameos in a weird way because I feel like there was almost so many that it stopped being distracting. Like every character was somebody that I knew, so I wasn't like, oh, there's fucking Post Malone. Like, of course there's fucking Eminem. And I feel like if you're gonna have 8 million cameos, like all of them played their roles about as good as they could have. Like they did their job. So I enjoyed most of the characters that appeared in the movie.
Okay, so my number one negative is way too many unnecessary characters. And I don't even include that. That's not even just cameos, Sean. There's just so many people in it that I'm like, yo, just like have a core and then some ancillary characters. And instead, there was so much stuff going on at once and none of it. Like, think of in Happy Gilmore 1 when he's putting for the first time and it's way too far. And then he walks over and then he hits it and it's too far again. So then he hits it softer and it goes an inch and then it goes an inch. That's like a 35-second scene where someone's just doing something in silence and it is so funny. There's no moment like that because there's 100 people running around and it's, hey, look at this guy, and it's, hey, this guy's breath stinks. I know I'm sounding old, but it's just, there was so much, it's so bloated. That's the way I'll phrase it. Bloated.
They don't let any of the jokes breathe. And it's just like, it's got like TikTok attention span to these jokes.
McRae.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Negative for me is how it looks. We've talked about it so much, but the movie looked terrible just in terms of like the color, just the CGI, and it did not look anything like, and I guess like it was trying to be a grittier version of Happy Gilmore, but like that's also a negative for me. I don't need a fucking like trauma stricken dark version of Happy Gilmore. Give him like one problem that is really holding him back and explore it, but remember that you are a comedy movie, and this movie felt like it was trying to be both a like darker, like deeper version of Happy Gilmore and a comedy movie, and it wasn't great at either of them.
I'll give you another one. Not enough Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, I was gonna
in the interest of jamming in all these characters. I was
Shooter.
like, yo, like I'm liking Shooter in this movie.
Same,
Shooter,
yeah.
I liked a little Shooter redemption arc. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. But it fell victim to, we need the kid from Please Don't Destroy to take a selfie for 5 minutes or whatever was going on with that. Sean, any negatives for you?
Did love Shooter in them.
No, I just like kind of the other side of me liking the cameos is that like I think the cameos were good. I wish that any of the cameos got to have more time because there was so much going on that like none of them really got their moment. And also, this is not. It just drives me crazy that Adam Sandler gets to dress the way he dresses. He dresses like a blind man at a Goodwill. Like it's like the worst, and like the Bruins of it all. Obviously, I hate that, but he's gonna have a black and yellow Bruins jersey on with like blue and orange sweatpants and Timbs. I hate it. It bothers me every single time I see Adam Sandler dress himself.
But I feel like Happy Gilmore did it first. He became 1996's Happy Gilmore because he would wear the sweatpants, he would wear the Timbs, and that was the Happy Gilmore look. And then just eventually he went through this big thing where it was like sweatshirt and basketball shorts. But now the way that Happy Gilmore dresses, or the way that Adam Sandler dresses, is
Happy
just
Gilmore,
like,
yeah.
I mean, we've seen like Jeremy Piven. I think he still thinks he's Ari Gold. You see people think that they're their characters. I don't know. There are worse people to become than Happy Gilmore, as long as you're the one from 1996 and not this crazy one.
Do have to say, like, they hammered the Bruins in this movie. They like mentioned the Bruins so much. And in the first one, like, he wore the jersey, obviously, and it seemed like he was a Bruins fan, but it wasn't really like explicitly called out that like the Bruins. They did that so much here. And as a negative that I will throw on, in one of the scenes with the family, one of the kids was wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey. It didn't have the logo, logo, but it was like the generic base of a Montreal Canadiens jersey. And like, that just can't happen if you're making yourselves out to be an explicit Bruins family.
So I only know this because I watched Happy Gilmore before I watched Happy Gilmore 2. Happy wears that shirt. Happy wears that shirt in the first one around his apartment, I believe. And that struck me immediately. I was like, damn, I know they don't really say Bruins in this movie, but he wears a Bruins jersey, and we are to assume, like, he loves Terry O'Reilly. We're to assume the Bruins are his life. So I thought that was a little weird. But that when the kid wore it in this one, it did stick out more. Because they were hammering Bruins.
It's funny to me, especially with like all the advertising they did during the Stanley Cup playoffs and stuff. Like, you didn't really need to back yourself into the whole, like, because he wears different hockey jerseys throughout the thing. The fact that the NHL didn't just kind of throw him a check and be like, throw on a fucking Kings jersey in this, like, just wear different NHL jerseys instead of backing yourself into being just Bruins.
In Happy Gilmore, his apartment is decorated with, like, he's got Oilers, he's got Whalers, he's got everybody. It's like a what chaos.
And it's not like he's an actual Bruins fan, as far as I know. Like, I don't think Adam Sandler's actually a Bruins fan. So if that were the case, that would make sense.
I would guess Rangers.
I mean, I know that he's a Knicks fan, but didn't he grow up in New Hampshire? Like, I think that he's a Bruins fan.
Okay, if that is the case, then that's fine, I guess. But I was just like, it's just something I had just thought about, to be honest. But like, NHL could have thrown him a check, and he could have been repping like a Logan Cooley Utah Mammoth jersey.
That would be really fun.
It would have rocked.
Okay, let's give our letterbox scores. Pete, what do you give it?
It's probably topping out at a 2.5 for me. Maybe a 2, maybe a 2.5. But like, again, I didn't hate it. I don't despise it. I don't think it needed to happen, but probably 2.5 at most.
Yeah, I'm a 1.5. I was gonna go 1, but I really did like that Bad Bunny, and there were aspects of it that had me wanting more.
You sound like a 60-year-old man. You sound like a 60-year-old man. You're like, terrible movie, but I did like that Bad Bunny.
Yeah. You know, that Killer Mike's political takes. I can get down with that. Yeah.
What he's doing is important.
Yeah, Sean, you're not a letterbox guy, right?
No.
Good man. Me neither. What would you give it out of 5?
I will I'll say 3 because I wasn't offended by it. I will never watch it again. I will never like be the reason I watch it again. But like, I enjoyed the hour or the 118 minutes that I watched it. Like, I wasn't upset that I was watching it, and maybe because my expectations were so low, I was pleasantly surprised. But it's like a perfectly fine. It was a fine experience.
Okay, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. As I said, during the regular season, we give you daily episodes that you can watch right here on YouTube that are live, and then we also give you episodes and additional content during the off season, such as this lovely conversation. You can find us wherever you find your podcasts, and we will talk to you soon.
Jackass.
We all silly like the mayor.